Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pucharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Anyone do their homework? Homework was you should write a paragraph explaining how to become free from the disqualifications for learning Vedic knowledge. You did it? No. Okay. All right, so today we're going to read some supplemental information about what we studied yesterday. Now you have the sheets from what we studied yesterday, and we're going to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, verse number 15 to 33. So we were explaining that it says, once upon a time, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. Yesterday we learned the word ablution. What does that mean? Yeah, we did. It's in the vocabulary. Where are the vocabulary words? Anyway, ablution means cleansing oneself or purification of oneself. Let's see, I have my notes from yesterday. Yesterday we learned aversion, Upanishad, ablution, Veda, stricture, vow of poverty, vanquish, and suffice. Those were some of the words we learned yesterday. So ablution means spiritual purification. So Vyasadeva wakes up early in the morning, and first thing he does is he purifies his body and mind. He purifies his body by bathing in the Ganges, and his mind by chanting Hare Krishna, thinking of Krishna. And he did that in the waters of the Saraswati. Now we explained that the Saraswati River disappeared. You have these two, you have many sacred rivers in India, but mainly the Ganges and its different tributaries, and the Saraswati. So the Ganges goes from east to west, and the Saraswati goes from north to south. So it went from the Himalayas down to what's modern Pakistan today, and then into the Indian Ocean. And the Ganges goes from the Himalayas eastward toward the Bay of Bengal and empties into the Bay of Bengal. The Saraswati disappeared. It's still there, but you can't see it. And it's also a sacred river. So Vyasadeva bathed in the holy waters of the Saraswati. And the Saraswati was flowing near his ashram, which is Badarik Ashrama. That's way up in the Himalaya mountains. And you can visit that place today. Okay, so the next verse says, the great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. Write this word down, anomaly. Anybody know what it means? A-N-O-M-A-L-Y. A-N-O-M-A-L-Y, anomaly. Anomaly means a discrepancy, something that's wrong. Something wrong. Or you can say a discrepancy. So he saw that there were some things that were wrong, he noticed. There were discrepancies. Huh? Different pattern?
There's something different in the pattern.
Yes, there was something wrong. What did he see? The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on earth in different ages due to unforeseen forces in the course of time. So what he saw was there were anomalies or discrepancies in the duties of the millennium. What does that mean? Duties of the millennium. First of all, what does millennium mean? Yeah? 1,000 years, yeah. It's 1,000 years, right? However, it's a Latin word, millennium, which means 1,000 years. But there's an extended meaning of the word, which means he's using it. Prabhupada is using the word here to mean an age. So there's Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, right? So each yuga lasts a certain number of years. So write down those 4 words. Satya Yuga, S-A-T-T-Y-A. S-A-T-Y-A. Treta Yuga, T-R-E-T-A Yuga. Dwapara Yuga, D-V-A-P-A-R-A Yuga, Y-U-G-A. And Kali Yuga. So, Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years. 432,000. 432,000, right? 432,000 years. And Dwapara Yuga is 2 times 432,000 years, meaning 864,000 years. And Treta Yuga is 3 times 432,000 years. That means 1,296,000 years. And Satya Yuga is 4 times 432,000 years, meaning 1,728,000 years. Okay, so you have Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So when he says there were anomalies in terms, in other words, the word here in Sanskrit is called Yuga Dharma. What is the prescribed duty for humanity in that particular yuga or period of time? So he translates that with the Latin word millennium. But actually, a millennium is just 1,000 years. So he's using the larger context of the meaning of the word millennium to mean an age of time. And so we know that there are 4 ages of time in the Vedic history: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. Right? You got that? Satya Yuga is 432,000 years. 432,000. Dwapara is 2 times that. Treta is 3 times that. And Satya Yuga is 4 times that. All right?
Kali Yuga, right?
Huh?
Kali Yuga, right?
No. Okay, I went the opposite ways. The first one is Satya Yuga. It's 4 times 432,000 years. Next one is Treta Yuga. It's 3 times 432,000 years. Then you have Dwapara Yuga, it's 2 times 432,000 years. And then you have Kali Yuga, which is 1 time 432,000 years. Okay? Okay, so the great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies, things that look wrong, discrepancies, in the duties of the millennium. So what are the duties of the millennium? What does that mean? Duties of the age, right? And you have those 4 ages, or 4 periods of time. Satya, Tretya. So in Satya Yuga, the duty, prescribed duty, was meditation. And then Treta Yuga, the prescribed duty was doing great sacrifices. And in Dwapara Yuga, the prescribed duty was deity worship. And in Kali Yuga, the prescribed duty is what's the Harinam Sankirtan, right? So in the purport, it says, the great sages like Vyasadeva are liberated souls, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age, and accordingly, he made arrangements for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. So, because Vyasadeva is Trikalagya, write this down, Tri, K-A-L-A, so Tri, K-A-L-A, and Gya, J-N-A. Vyasadeva is Trikalagya. That means, 3 means 3, Kala means time, and Gya means knowledge. So, he was able to see past, present, and future. That means Trikalagya. Tri, means 3, T-H-R-E-E, right? Kala means time, and Gya, J-N-A, means knowledge. He had knowledge of past, present, and future. Okay? So he could see what was going to happen in the past, what happened in the past. He could see what was happening in the present, and he could see what was happening in the future. Are any of you Trikalagya? Am I Trikalagya? No. But Vyasadeva was. So, he could understand that in the coming Kali Yuga, there were going to be many anomalies in the duties of the millennium. Anomalies means discrepancies, faults, or things that are not normal in the Dharma. What is the Dharma for Kali Yuga? It's Harinam Sankirtan. Okay, so thus he could see the future anomalies in the Kali Yuga, the Kali age, and accordingly he made arrangements for people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age. What does progressive life mean? Write this word down. P-R-O-G-R-E-S-S-I-V-E. Progressive life. Progressive. What does progressive life mean? Kishori. You know?
Progressive means like you keep on, progressing, you keep on improving.
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes from the word progress, right? Progress means you generally get better and better at what you're doing. So progressive life means, huh?
It keeps upgrading, keeps getting better.
Well, what's the purpose of life? Let's understand that. What is the purpose of life in the material world? That's where we are, right? We're in the material world right now. What's the purpose of life in the material world?
Help to get a job, succeed.
No, that's not the purpose of life.
Oh, Krishna consciousness or material?
Now, we're in the material world. What's the purpose of life in this material world?
Oh.
The purpose of life is to get out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease by becoming Krishna conscious, developing love for Krishna and engaging in devotional service. The purpose of life is, 1, get out of the cycle of birth and death. Number 2, by becoming Krishna conscious and developing pure love for Krishna. Number 3, going back to Godhead. Right? Purpose of life. And get out of the cycle of birth and death. How do you do that? You engage in the activities of Krishna consciousness, which is chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam, studying Bhagavad Gita, and doing service, especially Sankirtan and all other services. And then, by becoming Krishna conscious, you develop pure love for Krishna. And then finally, you go back to Godhead. Okay? Purpose of life. So when he says, he made arrangements for people in general so that they can execute a progressive life. So progressive life means these 3 things. Get out of the cycle of birth and death by becoming Krishna conscious and develop pure love of Krishna and going back to Godhead. That's the purpose of life. Okay? So then next, it says, the people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. So, what does it mean to evaluate the assets of life? What are the assets of life? Evaluate means you are able to attribute value to things that you encounter in life. So what are the assets of life? What are the assets that you have? What is an asset? It's something that you have that's of value, right? So what are the assets, you know? Yes, Pranay. Yeah, okay, that's not the most important asset, but yes, okay, you have time. 1. 2. Huh? Well, that's a goal of life. By using your assets,
Association.
yes,
Books.
no.
This body.
Okay, now you're getting close. Yes. What? Yeah, you have the senses. What are the senses? Huh? Eyes, ears, nose, skin. So what? And the mind. Well, no, the mind. The mind is the sixth sense, and the other five we just named. So, what are those? What are they called? They are the senses for gathering knowledge. The five senses for gathering knowledge. Could you understand anything if you had no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no skin? You wouldn't understand anything. These are senses for gathering knowledge. And then you have five senses for working, and so forth. But anyway, we won't go into that now. We've done that already previously. So that's another asset. Five senses for gathering knowledge. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. And then besides that, you have intelligence. Now, we learned what is intelligence in ignorance. Tamasa buddhi. What is intelligence in ignorance? Tamasa buddhi. Remember? Yes.
Tamas is ignorance.
Yeah. So what is buddhi? Intelligence. So what is intelligence in ignorance? I know, but what does it mean? Besides saying intelligence in ignorance. Intelligence in ignorance, we discussed this. It was not in our notes yesterday. It was in our notes previous time. Intelligence in ignorance, or tamasa buddhi, means using your intelligence for sense gratification. You know people who use their intelligence for sense gratification? Huh? You know people like that, Arush? How many people use their intelligence for sense gratification in the material world? Huh? Almost everybody. Yeah. It's a disease, and tamasa buddhi, it's a disease, using your intelligence for sense gratification. Okay. So, you can use your intelligence to go back to Godhead, or you can use your intelligence to stay in the material world. So, Vyasadeva noticed the people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter. That means they're too much interested in computers, cars, houses, boats, baseball, football, soccer, cricket, and so forth. They're all interested in things that are temporary. Matter is eternal or temporary? Huh? Yeah, it's actually eternal. But the forms of matter are temporary. The energy itself is eternal. But the forms of matter are all temporary. So people become interested in the temporary forms of matter, which are all temporary. Okay? Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. Now, why does it say Because of ignorance. Because people today are more educated than ever been in the history of the world. They go to Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Columbia, all these big colleges, IIT, and BITS Pilani, and all these schools, and they're highly educated. Why does it say they are, because of their ignorance, they cannot evaluate the assets of life? Why does it say that? Yes. Yes, so all the education that people receive today in Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Columbia, University of Pennsylvania, my college, my university, it's all ignorance. How do we know that? Read chapter 13, verses 8 to 12. Kishori, go ahead. What does it say? Chapter 13, verses 8 to 12. This is what we're studying every day in our regular school, Monday to Friday. What does it say? Go ahead. Use the microphone. Go ahead. The English.
Translation?
Yeah.
Humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and the philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides these, whatever there may be is ignorance.
So besides these 20 points of knowledge, everything else is ignorance. Are they teaching any of these points of knowledge in Stanford, MIT, UCLA, Yale, Harvard? Huh? No, they're not teaching any of these subjects. So everything they're teaching is actually ignorance. These 20 points, this is what we're studying now in our school, Monday to Friday. That's what we've been studying recently. This is real knowledge. And all the other stuff that they teach in these schools is called fake knowledge. It's not real knowledge. Therefore, Vyasadeva says, because of the ignorance of people in general, they were unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. So when you only study fake knowledge, you can't appreciate real knowledge due to ignorance, because the more you learn fake knowledge, the more you become ignorant spiritually. Do you agree with that, Prabhu? Yes? Okay, so now the next verse. The great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge. So Vyasadeva has full knowledge of those 20 points. Aman yitvam, Adam yitvam, Ahimsa santir arjavam, and so forth. Could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Yeah, go ahead, just blow it. Okay, now the class today is shorter because I have to be somewhere at 10 o'clock to perform a ceremony. So, study the notes. You're going to give them notes from today? No, the notes from what we just discussed. Okay. And next week, I'm going to give you a test on this. And you're going to get marked on the test. If you flunk the test, you have to wear the dunce hat. You know what the dunce hat is? Okay. So, study the notes.
says all the names of Krishna.
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana Kaliya Damana Vidana Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bada Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bada Vamsivadana Suvasa Vamsivadana Suvasa Prajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Prajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakawala Nanda Godana Rakawala Govinda Manava Navanita Daskara Govinda Manava Navanita Daskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Jamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasanahara Jamuna ततचर गोपीवसनहरा दासरसिक कृपा माया दासरसिक कृपा माया श्रीराधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नाथ भरत श्रीराधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नाथ भरत भक्ति विनोदन शया भक्ति विनोद शया यशोमती नंदन ब्रज वरनागर यशोमती नंदन ब्रज वरनागर कुलरंजन काना जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन जमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी
जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, श्री राधा नील माधव की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्री मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, बृहद मृदंगा की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. गौर प्रेमानंदे, all glories to Guru Acharya.
हरि बोल।
Generally the class continues, but Prabhu has a ceremony today. I don't know.
Yes.